Hello everybody, Hellcraigs here, and welcome to another episode of Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. And today we're going to be delving into medium mech lances and what to do and how to build them, or some thoughts that go into it. Now, when you look at a medium lance, you have to preface what era, typically you're looking at. Now, if you're looking at clans, heck, every single medium mech in the clans could be almost considered a scout slash flanker slash, because they're all fast. Yeah, just put it that way. So they can all fall into being scouts for that matter. Now, let's just go into the inner sphere aspect of it. You have the two different groups that you have to look at when it comes to inner sphere medium mechs. Is that you have some that go 5'8". There's some 6'9" movers, or some 7 movers, or some 8s, and then you have the lowly 4'6" or 4'6'4". I'm gonna take anything that's a 4 mover and just put it off the side for the moment. We're not gonna talk about those. That's gonna be another video in the future. But all right, I'm going to look at this as a flanker. Now, we talked about scouts in the previous video where you have to have something that's at least a 6'9", moves fast, gets in, gets out, does the drive-by, does an attack, gets out of there, something that's highly mobile that doesn't want to get locked down into a fight. Now, when you start getting into the medium mechs, this is where you start having some with some meat and potatoes on them, where they have some good firepower. They look for actually getting into a kind of a stand-up fight, but still looking to do a sort of a drive-by, I like to call it, where you have your mech, you go in there, you do the attack, and then you get out real quick and find something else, a fresh target to pounce on and then move on, where you're not being locked down. If you get yourself into a lockdown fight where you're trying to slug it out, you're basically trying to lose in one way. Because a lot of times you get an opponent, it's like, hey, this is the best ground I can have. I'm going to stay here. And that may not be to your benefit. It could be a whole bunch of open ground that's in front of them where you're going to be. So you want to move fast, get in, and get out. Basically, you do your attack and leave. And then go find a better target on your terms. All right. Now, some of these mechs that fall under what I call class the flanker. We have the assassin, the cicada, which were in the scout class too, because these guys are the 7'11" or an 8'12" mover. The assassin, it is a 7'11'7". This thing is also could be classified as a scout. It's highly mobile, which means that it is a threat anywhere you look at it. And it's like, oh, I'm not liking where I'm at. It can even jump out and get some great modifiers, so no one's even going to try to shoot at it. Typically if it jumps 7, they're going to be going, oh, okay, that's a 4 mod. I'm not even going to bother with that thing. They'll be looking at one of those 4.64 or 4.60 moving mechs with only maybe 2 mod on it, and they're going to go, yeah, this is going to be a great target versus that 4 target over there. Then we fall into where we got the Clint, the Hermes, the Vulcan, Wolf Trap, Phoenix Hawk, which was in the previous video, Sentinel, which I do believe was in the... Did I talk about Sentinel? Maybe. Yeah, I think the Sentinel was in the other one. And then the Scorpion. You go, whoa, Scorpion? Yes, the Scorpion. Not a great mech, but it can follow into being a kind of a fire support flanker. Then we have some others, which are kind of the Trebuchet, the Dervish, Shadowhawk, Griffin, Wolfhound, or Wolverine, Kintaro, Crab. And now, we got a couple here, depending on the era. Not that I'm a big fan, but they do fall in as a Centurion and the Enforcer, because the new 3051s are 5'8", 6'9" moving, so they can be a good flanker now. Not really great because they got the XL engines, but typically they're a 4'6" mover, so they're situationally say, yeah, they can be in this group or that group, depending on which variant you're looking at. And then you have some heavy hitters, which, hey, we're grabbing a few from the Heavy class, we have the Hostile, Quick Draw, and Champion. Yes, we have some 5/8 moving heavy mechs, which can be like a lance leader for a flanking force. All right. So typically what I like to do is I prefer to have my flankers have jump jets. If they don't have jump jets, it's not a deal breaker, but I still prefer to have my light and medium mechs running around with at least some jump jets. The whole purpose of it is like it goes back to what I just said I can't even say that. Said earlier, is that you have maybe a situation where you may need to get out quickly. It's like, all right, you got, or else you have some terrain that's really rough and you want to get over this terrain quickly. Jumping is your best bet, because instead of trying to run through it, you may only get maybe 2 hexes through, 3 hexes, or you can jump 5 or get over a hill or something of that nature. Jump jets are your friend in this case. Yeah, they cause a little bit extra heat, but what you gain for it to get over top of stuff is, you know, to your benefit. Or getting into a situation where, okay, I may not be able to run that 5 distance through a bunch of woods to get into some heavy woods, or I can jump over top of it and into that position I need to be in to get a good shot off, and then have some good defenses to go with it. So if you can jump 5, maybe 6 into some heavy woods, yeah, that's you're talking some good modifiers right there. And it may be that they're going to look at you and go, hey, I don't think I'm going to fire that, because that's a lot of it's like a 5 mod versus the guy over there had the 3 mod, and the ranges are the same. Who do you think they're going to go after? It's like the 2 pips may be the difference of doing a hit versus not a hit, or you being able to hit with your longer range weapons versus no hit at all. So who you think they're going to take? All right. So that's one of the benefits of being highly mobile. So typically what I like to do is I look around, look at the terrain. This is where you got to do the terrain assessment type thing. Is all right, where's the most likely place they're going to be set up? Or it could be that in some scenarios they're already dug into a position already, so they're not going to move. They're looking at defending a hilltop or some type of facility or something, so they're going to be kind of fixed. So it's up to you to move to them. So you got to look at the terrain. It's like, all right, which side is to my best benefit? Which gives me the most cover? Where's the best place to put my fire support mechs? And then these guys we're talking about, the flankers, are the ones that are going to try to get in behind and cause confusion amongst the defenders. So I'm going to be looking at that and go, all right, I say this side, there's a few more trees, I can get some good cover, maybe spot some, and then I'm going to have the light lance, the scouts, are going to be out front of these guys, because they're going to be faster than your flankers. So they're going to be moving downfield quick as possible and sowing the confusion. All right. And then these guys are following along going, hey, you know, it's like they have better weapons than your scouts you typically do. So they're going to have the capability of doing a little bit of more damage as they're going in. So they're going to be attracting the attention initially from your scouts. This is their job. The flankers are going to be maybe making themselves a little more juicier targets than the scouts. All right. And then behind your flankers are going to be your anvil force, which is, you're going to have your slower 4/6 movers. You know, you're typically might have some heavies in there, like your crusaders and archers, maybe some catapults or thunderbolts. Typically, it's going to be thunderbolts and crusaders in the succession wars, most likely. And then your flankers here are going to be moving up initially behind your scouts, firing away, trying to get some good shots in, and attracting attention. All right, it's a wave effect, because as you're moving on, typically you're not going to have your heavier force can be able to fire for the first turn or two, maybe. depending on the scale of your game. So these guys move in. They're flying in, hitting positions, firing away, and you may have a couple of these. You look at the Griffin. There is one of those ones that has that PPC. It's got to have that LRM. It's not wanting to get close, but it is mobile. So this will be your fire support along with your Dervish and your Trebuchet. So these are your fast flanking mobile fire support platforms. So they're moving into a positions. They're going to be laying down cover fire. They may not be the ones moving quickly into the area, but they're able to start moving around the flank so they can do flanking fire or even getting into the rear areas eventually. So they're laying down the fire. And then you're going to have your other ones, which is going to be like, I love the Phoenix Hawk. This is going to be like your Lance leader typically. And then you're going to have your Wolverines, your Kentaros, your Crabs, and Shadowhawks. I'm not overly... If I had a choice between a Shadowhawk and a Wolverine, I'm taking the Wolverine every day. But these are the guys that are moving in because they have enough firepower to take on the counter reactionary force. Typically, an opponent may have their own version of a Scout Lance. They may have their own version of a flanking medium lance. So if they have their scouts moving in, this force will be following in behind your scouts. Your scouts will do the drive-by, trying to attract a little bit of attention, doing a little bit of damage, plinking away as they're heading around. And their goal may be to get into the rear in their support mechs, like say where they're going to have they're laying down there. They may have vehicles that, let's say, some LRM or SRM carriers or something of that nature. So... But your medium lance is moving along, trying to get in behind him. Attracts the attention, laying down fire. Oh, we just run into their screen of light lance. So you're going to be laying down some fire, doing some good damage against them, because the mediums versus, typically you don't want to run mediums versus lights very much, because the lights are going to be taking a pounding typically, because these guys can get in there and have some good in-close fire support. Do some good damage. So it may be that, oh yeah, this is not a tenable situation, so they may force their light lance to disengage and move someplace else across the battlefield, looking for an easier target. So your medium flanking force is going to try to have area control. So you're going to either destroy whatever light lance is in the area. If they move a medium lance in there to that, you're going to have your lights possibly in their rear, attracting attention away. So they have to worry about, oh, I'm getting attacked in the rear, which is an easy way to really get their attention. Is that they don't like, it's like if you got a heavy or a medium mech, and it's constantly getting shot in the rear arc, it doesn't take very long before you're punching in, before you punch through the front. But, all right, so that will make them say, okay, I got to fall back so I'm protecting my rear. So now you're controlling the area. And then you're pushing them into the, condensing them down into an area that you want. And I'm one of those individuals that likes to have artillery. This is a great time where, all right, you concentrate, you're trying to move them into an area that you want them to be in, and that's when you start pounding them with the artillery, because that's an area effect weapon system. You're attacking a point on the table versus trying to hit the mech. So you're going to be doing area effect, doing some good damage. And let me tell you, anybody that starts getting hit with artillery and with no way to fight back against it, they don't want to be there. That's when they typically go, okay, it may take them a turn or two to drop that artillery where they want it, because the delay on onboard artillery versus offboard artillery, there's a big delay. So that will force them, oh yeah, we got to move, because they don't like taking damage for no reason, so they'll basically placed someplace. So you're now moving them to where you want them to be. Channeling into the kill box. Alright, so now that you're looking at what are your capabilities, this is where now you have the control of the area. You look at where they're sitting with their fire support mechs, and now your follow-on forces, your heavies and assaults possibly have moved in, are now the anvil. This is an anvil type tactics where you got them pincered into where you want it, into a kill box, and you're just hammering away on them. And if they have a fixed position where they want to defend, and you get, let's say you did pay the points for some artillery, now they're really paying the price. So you have your heavies and maybe your assaults laying down the fire, attracting more attention because now you got these slow moving, ponderous type troops, and you're like, oh man, these guys are going to really tear me up. I have to do something about it. So now your medium lance and your light lance, which we had talked about before, is in their rear with the gear. And now it's once again, you're attacking the rear arcs. You're in their flanks. By this time, some of their heavies maybe will have some damage open flanks that they have. And these guys, your medium flankers, are moving quickly into that arc so they can channel damage into those open areas. So if they have, let's say, left side open, they're trying to defend against you, you say, okay, I'll move everybody, try again to the left flank, and then you just channel damage right down in it. So it's just funneling right into the nice juicy innards. And then if your light flankers are, your scouts have found their fire support, and they're right up in their face, because let's say they got a whole bunch of LRM vehicles or mechs where they have so many problems with shooting anything up close, because this, hey, I can move really quickly, get into their face, so they can't even hit me because all my mods, and I'm right in their face. They're gonna have to look at something, continue firing down range, so they are forced to either ignore you or just try to use whatever close range weapons they have against the lights and these mediums. Because this flanking force is now working its way around, so it can either attack the fire supports platforms, or it can fire into the rear arcs or flanks of the guys that have moved forward to take on your heavies. So that is a lot of how I look at the battlefield, is that I'm trying to do localized control and force your opponent to move. Anytime the opponent is moving, you're basically controlling them. You're pushing them to where you want them to be. Now, they will be trying to do the same to you, but if you recognize the fact that you don't want to be locked down in any one place, because I always say, it's like a position may look nice, but if it's unattainable, don't use it. Fight on your own terms. So that means mobility. Keep moving, and protect your rears, protect your flanks, and keep rolling the battlefield in the direction and try to channel them into where you want them to be, and use your combined arms to your best ability. And that means, heck, even throwing in some vehicles or two. Hey, don't deny the fact that vehicles can make a big change in the game. So that is kind of how I look at when I'm using medium flankers. And then eventually we're going to be, probably next time, we'll talk about what kind of mechs I think about when I'm looking at a medium lance, when it comes to throwing one of those together. Because a standard medium lance that in the succession wars are going to be those guys that not fast, but they're the ones that are designed to have the most firepower possible for their class. So they will be your follow-on force. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.